Hi everyone, I am Nikita. Today in our class we will going to learn about Unit 4 Evolution MYP 4. In this session we will learn about evidence of evolution, homologous organ, analogous organ, vestigial organ, fossil drawing and cladograms. We have already discussed this in our previous class, the topic evolution. We seen and learned about what is evolution and what is the cause of the evolution. So in today's class, we will basically deal about evidences of evolution. So, evolution means a gradual change in the characteristics of a species. So, let's begin with the evolution term. For recalling, evolution is a gradual change in the characteristics of a species over generation. It's explain how living things have changed and adapted over millions of years to survive in the environment. These changes happen through process like mutation. We already discussed what is mutation. Right, so mutation, natural selection, and survival of the fittest. So it's the topic covered in our previous class. Now you see in the picture, it's a evolution of a Homo sapiens. How we evolve from our ancestor one into proper human. Right. So evolution, change in trait of species over generation. The cause of evolution is natural selection. Natural selection means best trait selected by nature. Mutation, random change in DNA, that is called mutation, and gene flow, genetic drift, explain biodiversity and origin. So evolution explain how different variety of life living on the earth, how they originate on the earth, right? Example, birds from theropod dinosaur. So we know in today that dinosaur is ancestor of the birds. Come on the topic homologous organ. So homologous organ are the organ that look different on outside and do different function. So the organs having same structure but differ in function. So I repeat, homologous organ are organ that look different on the outside and do different function, but they have same internal structure or origin. So the same internal structure plus origin, right? But they perform different kinds of function. Let's take an example. The forelimb of a human, bat, whale, cat are the origin, the setup and the arrangement of the bones are same, but the function of the forelimb in human, bat, whale and cat is differ. So those organ called homologous organ. So the forelimb of a human, cat, whale and bat, they all have similar bones structure but do different thing like writing. Human hand do writing. Yes, bat flying, for whale swimming, and for cat walking. So these are the different function but having similar internal structure. These organ called homologous organ. Let's see, it's a hand of a human, dog, bird, whale. Same in origin, it is humerus, right? This is radius, ulna. This is carpel, then metacarpal, then phalanges finally. Same arrangement is there in this one, humerus, radius, ulna, right carpel, metacarpal, finally phalanges. So these are the general basic structure but having different in function. Come on, the analogous organ. Analogous organ are opposite of homologous organ. Basically, analogous organ are organ that look similar and do the same function, but their structure and origin are different. So same function but differ in origin and structure. This result convergent evolution. So in our upcoming slides, we will look in depth what is convergent evolution. Let's take an example of analogous organ, wings of bird versus insects. As you see in the picture, this is the insect's wing, this is a petrodactyl, this is a bird, this is for bat. So all of having like similar function, all do similar function flying, right? But the origin, the setup of bones differ in differ animal. That set of organ called analogous organ. So wings of a bird and wings of an insect both help in flying but are made differently. Look the difference between Homo and Ana. So it's insect wing, bird wing perform similar function, having similar function but differ in structure wise, differ in origin. Whereas homologous having differ function but having similar origin. Right, so homologous just opposite of analogous organ. Let's start convergent and divergent evolution. So convergent evolution when unrelated organism evolve a similar trait. So let's assume species 1, species 2, species 3. These all are the unrelated organism but evolve similar trait because they live in similar environmental characteristics. They share similar traits, right? Why? Due to similar environment, similar habitat, environment. So different species evolve similar trait because they live in similar environment, even though they are not closely related. So different animals developing the same tool for the same job. It's just an example. Let's practically wings in birds and bats. Birds and bats both fly, but birds and bat are the different species, right? Birds classified as mammal, but the like bird, bat, it's for bird, bird classify under the category of aves. So they evolve wings separately, not from a common winged ancestor, but perform the same function, different origin. So conversion evolution shows the analogous organs. Right, because analogous organ have similar function but differ in origin. So this is an example. Look, this is a dolphin, a mammal, but shark under category of Pisces, platypus, a mammal, but duck is avis. Or both have the like this fins for swimming, streamlined body, but In this case, you see, but both are different species. Similarly, platypus and the duck, it's a bird, it's a mammal. So both are different species but share some similar function. Common, the next thing is divergent evolution. So divergent evolution is when related organisms become different over time. So let's take an example. Species 1 becomes and forms new species like A, species B, species C. Why this is happening? Due to different environment, different habitat, different adaptation method. So from common one similar species, they separate individually and form different species. So divergent evolution is when a related organism becomes different over time due to adapting to different environment. For example, the famous example which we already discussed in our previous class, Darwin finches on Galapagos Island all came from one common ancestor. So from one common ancestor of the finches, they become different variety of species. Some finches have shorter beaks. Some finches have like very pointed beak, very broad, someone according to based on the feed type, right? So Darwin finches on Galapagos Island all came from one ancestor but developed different beak shape depending on their food source. Food source are differ. Some birds eat food, fruit, seed, insects, etc. This is an example of divergent evolution. This is a common ancestor. Elephant and mammoth are the different species and variety, but share some common ancestry. So divergent evolution, similar origin, but having differ in function. So divergent evolution shows homologous organ. Okay, let's differentiate between the convergent and divergent relationship. Convergent is for unrelated species from S1, S2, S3. They form a single like common which shares some common feature or function. Divergent evolution is for related species. Species 1 differentiate and form the new variety of species category. This is a divergent. Now trait. Similar trait evolve independently. In the case of divergent, trait become different over time. Cause similar environment need and different environment need. In this case, it may be happen different environmental condition. Example, wings in bats and the birds. Example of the convergent evolution and beak of Darwin finches. Example of the divergent evolution. Come on the next amazing topic, vestigial organ. So what is vestigial organ? Basically, vestigial organ are body parts that once had a use in ancestor, but now no longer function in modern organism. So such for example, human appendix, wisdom teeth, muscle, ear. So whale pelvic bone have no use today. Ostrich wing, ostrich bird even don't fly. They don't need wings. Another example for wisdom teeth Muscle to move ear, no need for this. Muscle to move ears. So these are the reduced form, no longer functional, indicate ancestral trait. So this organ called the vestigial organ, right? So look the vestigial organ, Darwin point on the ear. Why we need this? Ear muscle, tonsils, plica semilunaris, wisdom teeth, no need, third molar, male nipples, not required, not in use, even appendix. Appendix are present in ancestor purpose to digest cellulose, but in today's we don't consume cellulose. Coccyx and body hair, goosebumps, these all are vestigial organ. Come on the fossil as evidence. So first question come, what is fossil? Fossil are the preserved remains or traces of animals, plants and other organism from the past. So it's basically preserved remain or traces of animal, plants and other organisms from the past. That is called fossil. How was, now question comes in mind, how are these fossils formed? So fossil formed when a dead organism, so let's draw a flow chart. When a dead organism die, get buried under the earth, under the sand, soil, mud, over million of years. So over million of years, the bones or skulls turn into rocks. So bones plus skull turns into the rocks. These fossils are found in layer by layer, right? So come on, amazing example. The famous fossil Archaeopteryx is a very important fossil because it shows feature of both bird and reptile. It show the connection between the bird and between the reptile. So basically bird which fly, right? A reptile which show creep crawl movement, creep plus crawling, such as a crocodile, it's a reptile, lizard, it's a reptile. Archaeopteryx saw relationship between birds and the reptile. It had feathers like a bird and teeth and a long bony tail like a reptile, bony tail it had. This proved that bird evolved from reptiles. So we know today that bird comes from the reptile. This is evolution. Significance of the fossil fuel. So let's read how fossil form. Step first one, death, burial in sediment, mineral replacement, rock layer formed. Type, it may be in the form of mold, cast, true form, trace. One example of the fossil, trilobite fossil, it's a name. And what are the major significance of the fossil? So evidence of evolution, yes, we get some data, we get some knowledge, show how organism change over time. So shows what organism lived long ago, reveal extinct species, helps us to study life that no longer exist, determine earth age, yes, found in rock layer to date life history, transnational form, shows link between old and new species. So this is a transitional forms, fish to amphibian, how fish evolves, converts into amphibians, reconstruct ecosystem, provide clues about ancient environment. So it's provide proof of evolution, basically fossil. Come on the another term, Cladogram. So cladogram, it's basically a diagram that shows how different organisms are related based on shared characteristics and common ancestor. So if I draw like this, species converted into this S2, S3, S4, and from this S4 species, new species is developed. This show the entire chart or entire drawing show the ancestry line, show how one organism evolved into other. So it's just a family tree like. So a cladogram is a diagram that shows the this relationship between different species based on shared characteristics. Let's study feature of cladogram. So what are the major feature? It always show and represent branches, represent different species or group, nodes, branch point, show common ancestry like this one branch. Close branches more closely related shear trait are shown along the lines. So main feature is branches show how species are related. Nodes show common ancestor. Trait are shown along the branches. Come on the cladograms evolution connection. So basically diagram of evolutionary relationship based on some shared characteristics. In a cladogram, nodes or clades are very important. Nodes for the common ancestor and clades is branches. So let's assume this is one species. This is a simple like cladogram. The node shows common ancestor and the branches for the breakage branches called clades. Look in the figure, this one, how we draw a simple cladogram and represent the ancestry organism based on similarity and dissimilarity. Example is organism, fish, to amphibian, then reptile, then bird, then mammal. So this is a simple like distribution how fish converts into amphibian, then reptile, bird, and mammal. Shear trait is vertebrae, then limb, amniotic, egg, feather, fur. Interpretation closer the branch, closer the relationship between the different species. Let's summarize. Evidence type homologous ancestry, analogous for adaptation, vestigial is past function, fossil for history, cladogram it's just a mapping of evolution. So conclusion to sum up evolution explain the changes in species over time. We learn about it using evidence like homologous, analogous, organ, fossil, and cladograms. Understanding evolution help us know the history of life on Earth. So this is the end for today. Thank you. See you in the next class.